we are going to move on to logging in. I'm kind of excited because I feel like sign up took us a long time, but that is okay because I think we are going to be able to reuse a lot of the things that we made with sign up to make login a lot faster. So let's go ahead and just review the user story. So we want users to be able to log in. And the way that I split that up in a task was to create login to your account form that collects the username and a password. We'll have to do the onChange functions to save the username and password. We have to create an onSubmit function. And the way that's going to work is it's going to send the form data to the API and then save the response JWT to local storage and redirect user to project page. We also want to create a login route within our API. And then we're going to go ahead and verify that the password is correct and create the JWT. Finally, on the front end, we will want to create a success toast for account login. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this up. We're going to try to knock out the front end before we move on to the back end. Okay? So here's what our login page currently looks like. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the wireframe designs so we can take a look to see what's going on there. All right, so we want to make this login page here. As you can see, it looks very similar to the sign up page, so we are going to invest in some copying and pasting. All right, so sign up page. I am going to go ahead and, all right, so this is going to be the whole form. That's okay. I think we can copy the whole form. And we're going to move over to the login page. All right. So let's go ahead and start importing. So we want to import text. We want to import form control. We want to import form label. We want to import input and form error message. All right. So we don't need name and email, but we do need username and password, and then we don't need an enter password again. Let's go ahead and import our button. All right, and we're going to save. All right, so now we have our is_err username that we need to make and is_err password that we need to make. All right, and then we need an onChange username and onChange password, and then we need our states. All right, so we can copy those and minimize that. We can copy those as well. So we want to do onChange username, onChange password. Let's go ahead and paste that in. All right, and then let's get our states that we need. We need here. We need to have our state for password and our state for username, which I copied the wrong thing. That's okay. Let's go ahead and import our useState. Let's get our state for our username so we can save what is typed in there. And we want to submit, click username. All right. And keep in mind that there is refactoring that we could definitely do on all of this, right? We could try, and whenever you're copying and pasting a lot, you should take a step back and think about, I'm copying and pasting and duplicating my code. How could I refactor it to make it better? Sometimes though, you can do that a little bit too early, right? So I would probably be interested in making like different form components based on how I use them all the time, but I would want those styled a certain way, and maybe there's like something different I haven't thought of yet. So moral of the story is we are going to hold off on our refactoring until we have everything working, and then we can go ahead and make it better. All right, so we have our onChange functions, and now we need an onSubmit function. Oh, before our onSubmit, let's do our error variables here. Is_err username, is_err password. Okay, so now the only thing that we're missing is onSubmit. So let's go ahead and copy this, and then we're gonna have to edit down the onSubmit. All right. But luckily our little red squiggly lines are gonna help. So we don't have a name, email, or second password. We don't care about the name or the email or the second password. We don't need an extra or there. We need to import Axios. We don't want to send the email or password. This is going to be sent to the log in route, which doesn't quite exist yet, but it will. We will be getting a token back, and we do want to set it in local storage. And then I'm not going to worry about my name and email. I'm not going to worry about any of these or this. All right, we do want to navigate to projects, so we're going to have to add those two. Const navigate equals use navigate, and const toast equals use toast. I again like to have that at the top of my component, and we're going to have to import. Perfect. All right, and then on an air, we want to reset the form and say there was an error logging you into your account. All right. And then here I think we want to do like welcome back, comma, and then username. So we got to turn this into a variable so we can show it off. All right. Perfect. Except here we're setting the username equal to empty string. I'm not sure it's going to be updated by the time we get here, but if our toast doesn't work, we are going to have to change things around a little bit. Okay, so now if we look at our app, we are pretty close to having this set up. So instead, we are going to put log into your account. Okay. All right, let's give it a try. If I just submit, it's going to tell me my username is required and my password is required. Okay, so let me just type in a random password or username. That works. And password. There was an error logging you into your account. Please try again. So that's a good error. We are obviously having an error because there is no login route. Okay, let's go back and look at our user story. So we are collecting, we had created the form and it's collecting a username and password. We have an onChange function that saves our log into your account form data, but we haven't verified that it works. And we did create an onSubmit function that sends the form data to the API. It does do that. Not accurately though, because we don't have our route, but that's fine. That's a different task. It saves the response to local storage. It does do that, and it redirects users to the project page. We haven't tested that yet because we haven't successfully done this yet. Okay, so in order to successfully check, let's go ahead and look in our onSubmit and let's console.log our username. Let's console log our password. Right, so this is going to check our onChange functions and it's going to check our onSubmit function, at least the beginning of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and console. Let's do test username, test password, submit. Perfect. I'm gonna do this one again to make sure it's what I wrote. Perfect. All right, I must have just typed it wrong. I wasn't looking. Okay, and then, yep, not found. That's fine. That makes sense because we don't have that route. But let's go ahead and let's add that route to our auth controller. So similar to sign up, we are going to have a route for log in, and it is going to include a log in DTO, which will be part of the log in DTO class. And this function is going to be called login, and it is going to call the login service function, and we are going to pass that function the login DTO. Okay, so now we need to create the login class here. Okay, we don't have a name and we don't have an email. We do have a username. I don't really think we need to worry about sanitizing it because it's going to have to match the user, like we're going to use it to look up the, well, I guess we do want to sanitize it because if somebody is trying to access our database and do some sort of script to our database, we want to make sure they cannot do that. So on that note, then I'm going to actually add the sanitize to our password too, since that will go into our database. Okay, so this is log in DTO like this. All right, so we need a non-empty and it needs to transform, okay? And then this is saying it doesn't exist on auth service, and that is fair. It does not exist on auth service, so I'm just going to make it exist. And I'm just gonna console log the DTO. And then I am going to return a string that's going to just say fake token, so that way we can check it on the front end. So let's go ahead, and now we have console logged the username and password, so that makes sense. You can see that our auth login route is working proper, or is part of our list of routes and our endpoints that we can hit now. It's been mapped. Okay, so then we could console log the response, but we're setting it in local storage. So I'm actually going to be able to just go open up my local storage to check. And then if this all worked, we should see the projects page, and we should see our toast pop up. Okay, if it doesn't work, we should see an error message. All right, so let's do test username, and then I'm going to type in potato for my password, and welcome back, test username. Okay, so that's pretty cool in that the username was not reset before the toast, so that worked. So then let's go ahead, and we are going to check our local storage, and our fake token is in our local storage, so that is exciting too. And we've redirected to our projects page. So let's go ahead, and we created our onChange function that saves the log into your account form data. We have our onSubmit function that sends the form data to the API, which if you look, username and password are both in the API. And we redirected users to the projects page. We also created a success toast for account login. All right. Let's go ahead and create error toast for login errors. All right, so we did create the toast, but we might want to, but I'm going to leave it unmarked right now because we might want to get a little bit more granular in the message that we are showing. But I have to think that through a little bit. We also created the login route on the back end. So we are going to, in the next video, move on to verifying the password and returning the JWT. See you in the next video.